My name is Mary Denholm, and I'm a professional runner for Craft and the Feed High Performance Team. I'm also a run coach for Lift Run Perform, and I live in Erie, Colorado. I started running cross country in high school. My high school didn't have a track team, neither did my college. And interestingly enough, St. Michael's College was Division I for alpine ski racing, which is what I did. They were Division II for all other sports. So I did run cross country all 4 years in college, and then I took 6 years off. My first, my law school years, I was in that and forgot what it was like to be a fitnessing human. I was totally focused on being going to law school, and I was working full time and going to school at night my last 2 years. And so, like, I can count on one hand the number of times I went for a run in 6 years. It was not great, and then my first few years of being a lawyer, I was just like all consumed in that, and then I finally started back running in 2015. Started with road marathons in 2015 and did that mostly for I would say about 9 years, because 2024 is when I really did start doing ultras this past year. So that's the short version. I started what I would describe as like mountain running with friends in 2020 when I lived in Flagstaff. I became friends during the pandemic with a group of trail ladies who lived there, who welcomed me in and had a lot of patience with me as I learned to stumble my way around the trails. And I mean, like, I would run, Humphreys with them, the Grand Canyon, like that was an experience. They were like, we're going to go run in the Grand Canyon. And I was like, you mean you're going to hike? And they were like, no, 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 we're going to run. And I was like, people run that? Like, I didn't know. This was 2020. And so they like, my closest friends when I lived there were trail runners, and like that was a whole new side of running that I experienced in 2020 when I lived in Flagstaff, and I'm so grateful for it. And two of them came out actually to pace me at Leadville 100 this past summer, which was my first 100. So that was very special to have them there supporting me and helping me achieve that goal. But I always wanted to do it. And during the pandemic, I had a little more time because of like remote work and living in a place where I could like do, the longer trail days. And so it kind of gave me a idea of what it could look like in the future. And I did actually, my coach at the time was a road coach, but I said, it looks like some trail races are happening. Maybe we could train for them. And I did like train for like a 50K or two, but then they ended up canceling them because of COVID. So I kind of got a taste of like what the training could look like, and what I never actually got to do the race because of COVID, unfortunately. But I then moved back to California, and I was working a lot to self-support as a single income in California. And I honestly didn't have the time. I like was just trying to get through my week, and I found that what I was doing on road, I could just like be done faster. And so I knew everything I was doing between 2020 and coming over in 2024 officially was just going to like set me up like, for success. And like every time I had the opportunity, I would get out on trail and go on mountain trips with friends and crew and pace friends at their ultras. But I was like, I know I'm going to do this. I just need to like, one, like have better work-life balance, and two, live in a place where I can do it better. And so I just kept waiting. And I also wanted to hit that Olympic trials time with the road marathon when they lowered it. Like I had always seen that 2:37 and I wanted to run it. Like back when I was like a 3-hour marathoner, I was like, I'm going to do that one day. And I didn't necessarily have any objective data to suggest that I could do that. Like I was a 3:03 marathoner, and I was like, however long it takes, I'm going to commit to this goal. And I know I can do it. I just don't know how long it's going to take. I wanted to do that so bad, but I was like, achieve this goal and then come over. And so that's why I waited, was I wanted to give myself that shot at that goal that I had seen back in 2016. That's kind of how I transitioned over. Yeah, I think I'm really in tune to my effort meter. I think that has really carried over. Like, as far as like road workouts and like knowing like what's a sustainable effort for a certain amount of, or a road workout or race, like I have a really good effort meter for like this is what's sustainable for me. Like, I'm not a fly or die athlete. I tend to be actually a little more cautious. And so I think that that has translated well to trail, in that, like, I'm just really good at like predicting what I can run. Like, even this summer, like, and JFK, like the 3 Leadville races I did and JFK, like, I ran my splits and I was running them at JFK until like I had a stomach issue, but I turned it around and like rallied strong. But like, I I know what I can run, and I tend to run those splits without being tethered to my watch. Like, I'm just very in tune. I'm a very intuitive runner, and I'm very in tune with like what's realistic, if that makes sense. It's a race I've followed for a number of years, and I've wanted to do it personally, just from having followed and knowing other people who have done your race who've said really great things about it. I came up last year to support a friend who was racing, so I got to experience the race weekend, made me want to do it. So, I mean, money aside, like, that's not my main reason. That's like, that's extra. Like, for me, those high altitude races are what make me the happiest. Like, I loved my summer racing in Leadville last year, and I want to do the high altitude mountainous 100s. Yours, coming, I did Leadville last year. Yours feels like very much a good next step for me, for a number of reasons. More elevation gain. It's also at high altitude. And like, for me, those big high altitude mountain adventures are what make me the happiest. And I do want to race in more competitive races. Absolutely. For me, there's a number of reasons. And I also, I want to get that night running experience as well. Like, it's like I started Leadville with a headlamp, I ended with a headlamp, but like, it was brief. And I'm excited about a different adventure and like running through the night and like having that. So there's a number of reasons why I've eyed your race, and I'm excited to do it this year. I mean, I think especially with the 100-mile distance, like, you very much have to just run your own race. Like, if someone takes off, like, you don't even know if that's sustainable for them. For me, the most important thing is to just stay positive, like, to not let those negative voices take residence in my brain, to just kind of like push them out and like try to find positives. And I mean, this is also why going into a race, you have to know your why or whys. Like, there's always many whys that we're out there, we're doing this. And if you don't ground yourself in why you're doing this and why this is important to you, like, if you lose sight of that out there, that's a problem. So for me, it's like staying positive and just reminding myself of like my whys on like why I'm doing this race and like why this is important to me. I've had the near perfect day, or that like where it's like, it just feels like you're in control the whole time and you're executing exactly as you want. And those feel so good, but those are kind of like the magical unicorn that we're chasing all the time, right? It's not always going to be like that. And you better be grateful for that day, because you don't know when it's going to happen again. I would describe Silver Rush 50 as that exactly. Like, I executed everything. It was smooth. I achieved everything I wanted. And the 100 was pretty close, I would say, as well. Like, I navigated some issues. I mean, it's a long race. It's never going to go perfect.
Right.
But I would describe that as like pretty close to that as well. I hit a very much a rough patch at JFK 50, and I wasn't sure if my race was going to be over. Like, when you have a bad GI issue, like, it's like, oh man, like, I still have like almost 20 miles to go and I'm in a bad state. But after I got it all out, like, I was able to actually not only get back to the paces I was splitting before I got sick, but I was able to actually fuel again, which is huge, because a lot of times my experience is like, when your GI is gone, you're kind of just like, I need to just get to the finish, and like, you can't take anything in after that, right? And I was able to get fueling back literally the same way and close so hard. Like, I didn't achieve my primary goal in the day, but I achieved my secondary goal, which was to run under the course record. And it took everything. It felt like it took everything I had to go. I was like 90 seconds under. Like, it literally, like, I had to rally so hard. And that was one of those instances where I had to like ground myself in my whys and be like, you could hobby jog it in, or you can fight for this and you're still going to do it, but you're going to get it like just under. and I did. And I was really proud of myself. And while I didn't achieve my ultimate goal in the day, that was an invaluable experience on like, you can turn it around in a major way and you can still achieve like your secondary goal or like a goal on the day, if that makes sense. My preparation, yes, very much so. Like I'll study the course, I'll calculate what I think are realistic splits to give to my crew. And like I said, I tend to run them within like very close margin. But I'm not like tethered to my watch making sure I'm doing that. It's just, it's very informed. And then also with fueling, like very organized with all of it. Like my people are prepped. And then there's also the backup of like, if this doesn't go well, here's what to offer me. So yes, I'm very organized. And I think you have to be. Like, I honestly cannot imagine doing this sport and not being organized. And maybe this is the lawyer in me, but I would be so stressed if I wasn't prepared. And like, I go into these races not stressed, very relaxed. And I think a lot of that is because of how prepared I am. You've controlled all the variables you can, and ultimately the day is going to be what it's going to be. And we don't know what that's going to be, but you come into it as prepared as possible. I am a big like French fry person. I want sweet potato fries. I want like regular fries. I want steak fries. I want a variety, like a buffet of fries, tater tots. Like my go-to is salty potato, and like I will house them. It's like that's what I go for. Goo cake batter flavor. I mean, it saved me on some trail runs when I thought to myself, "Oh shoot." I really like the Nordlight Ultra, and there's also the Pro version of that, which is not publicly available yet. So that is my like longer distance race shoe of choice is the Craft Nordlight Ultra.